So when I have a student in my studio here in LA, I love seeing how they work. I love using the products that they're using. I love seeing how they apply things. I also like to step in at times and show them exactly how to place certain things like cream eyeshadow if it's not something that they're normally doing. And then I like to show them on each side a little bit of my technique, and then I let them take over, but I give them clarification on what colors that they should be using depending on if they're trying to learn bridal, or if they're trying to learn photo shoot, or if they're trying to learn mature skin. It all depends on what they're trying to learn. Now, I like to step in and make sure that their eyeshadow lines aren't too buffed out. I also like to give definition and explanation of why you should use certain colors higher up in the crease or lower in the crease. My technique for building eyeliner in the waterline underneath the root of the eyelashes is one of my signature things, and I learned it many years ago by working with Laura Mercier herself, and she taught me this great technique, and I like to give that onto my students. Now, another thing that I like to show is exactly how to apply primer and how much somebody should use. Oftentimes I find that many students who are self-taught or have come from a makeup school, they are very light-handed, and that's great if your focus is going to be working in film or in 4K television. But if you're working with brides or if you're working on photo shoots, you can be a little bit heavier-handed than maybe you're used to. And I know a lot of students have asked me why their makeup doesn't last on their models or their clients, and most of the time it's because they're just not using enough product. Now, I like to show how to apply concealer after foundation, whereas a lot of people will do color correction and concealing under the eye or on blemishes and then apply foundation on top. I actually do the opposite, and I like to use concealer as a highlighting product as well, so you don't have to go in with a third layer. And another thing that I like to teach is exactly where to place blush. I know a lot of students always ask me, is it in the apple? Is it in the contour? Like, where exactly do I put it? And how do I set eyeshadow? And why is my concealer always creasing? You know, when you're working with me one-on-one in my studio, I can answer all of these questions for you in first-hand, real-time experience. And it is essential to have that kind of one-on-one with somebody who is knowledgeable and an expert in their field. And a lot of times at makeup schools, you don't get that personal hands-on approach. Or you're being taught by artists who used to be very busy in their heyday, and now all they do is teach. So the thing with me is I am constantly working, I'm constantly taking on new clients, and I'm constantly learning new things from other artists. You can never stop learning, and when new products and new technologies are coming out, there are always new ways of applying products, and the thing that I love even more is teaching and sharing that knowledge with my students. Now, one of the things that is essential in learning how to do makeup best for your client for that special event is seeing the difference that a photograph makes, because the flash will actually deduce the amount of makeup that you have on your client by about 30%. So when you use a flash photograph to show you exactly what you're missing, you can always add more. I hope you guys enjoyed this sneak peek of this in-person lesson here in Los Angeles. Now, if you aren't in Los Angeles, but you would still